1970s, on the outskirts of Monterrey, Mexico, a strange house was built. Locals call it La Casa de los Tubos, the House of Tubes. It was meant to be a modern architectural wonder with cylindrical rooms connected by spiral staircases. But today, it stands abandoned, and almost everyone in Monterrey whispers the same thing. It's cursed. The story begins with a wealthy family who wanted a unique home for their daughter, a girl who used a wheelchair after a tragic accident. The round design was supposed to make it easier for her to move between rooms. But before the house was even completed, something horrifying happened. One afternoon, while exploring the unfinished second floor, the young girl's wheelchair rolled too close to the edge. She fell to her death inside the hollow concrete tubes. Construction stopped immediately. The family left Monterrey and never returned. From that moment, rumors began. Locals swore they saw a pale girl in a wheelchair near the broken windows, her face pressed against the glass, watching. Others claimed to hear screams echoing from the empty structure at night, screams that bounced endlessly through the tubes. Teenagers dared each other to sneak inside. Some came out terrified, insisting they heard the wheels of a chair rolling across the dusty floor. Others refused to talk about what they saw, only saying they would never go back. Even construction workers hired years later to renovate the house abandoned the project. They said they heard voices whispering their names, tools disappearing, and shadows moving along the curved walls. One worker claimed he saw the girl herself silently watching him before vanishing into the dark. Today, La Casa de los Tubos is still there. Its cylindrical walls are covered in graffiti, its windows shattered. But at night, the locals avoid it. Some say the girl's spirit never left. Others believe the house itself has become alive, feeding on fear, whether it's just an urban legend or the truth. One thing is certain, anyone who dares to enter risks becoming another whisper in the tubes. In the mountains of Estes Park, Colorado, stands a grand building that looks straight out of another time. The Stanley Hotel. At first glance, it appears beautiful. White walls, red roof, surrounded by the endless Colorado wilderness. Built in 1909 by the wealthy inventor F. O. Stanley, the hotel was meant to be a luxurious retreat for the elite. But over the decades, the Stanley became known for something very different. Not its beauty, not its history, but the shadows that walk its halls. Guests and staff alike have reported chilling encounters. Lights flickering with no explanation. Distant piano music echoing from the ballroom when it's completely empty. Children's laughter ringing through the hallways, even when no children are staying at the hotel. One room, however, is infamous above all others. Room 217. In the early 1900s, a chambermaid named Elizabeth Wilson was lighting gas lamps in that very room when a gas leak caused a massive explosion. She was thrown across the room, badly injured, but she survived. Since that night, countless guests have claimed to see her spirit. They describe a woman in old-fashioned maid's attire, silently moving about the room, tucking in beds, folding guests' clothes, or standing at the foot of the bed late at night, just watching. But the hotel's eerie reputation doesn't end there. Corridors are said to echo with the footsteps of unseen guests. Doors slam shut on their own. And in the concert hall, staff swear they've heard the faint sound of piano keys being pressed, as if someone was rehearsing for an audience that isn't there. Perhaps the most chilling connection came in 1974 when a young writer checked in for the night. His name was Stephen King. King and his wife were the only guests staying in the nearly empty hotel. That night, he wandered the long, silent halls and had a terrifying dream of his son being chased by something unspeakable. The experience shook him so deeply that it became the inspiration for one of the greatest horror novels ever written, The Shining. And when The Shining was published, the Stanley Hotel was forever cemented as one of the most haunted places in America. To this day, thrill seekers, paranormal investigators, and curious travelers flock to the hotel. Some leave laughing, claiming they felt nothing. Others leave pale, shaken, swearing they saw a ghostly figure or heard whispers in the dark when no one else was around. One thing is certain: at the Stanley Hotel, the night never truly belongs to you. It belongs to the shadows that linger in the corners, to the footsteps that follow you down the hall, to the piano that plays when no hands touch the keys. And if you dare spend a night in room 217, don't be surprised if you wake up to find Elizabeth standing at the foot of your bed, smiling faintly in the darkness, still tending to her eternal duty, even in death. Because here, the Stanley Hotel never lets go of its guests. In the heart of old Cairo, hidden between narrow alleys and ancient markets, stands a house that locals whisper about with fear. They call it the Jinn House. From the outside, it looks like just another crumbling building, broken windows, faded walls, and doors that creak with every gust of wind. But everyone in the neighborhood knows the truth. No one who stays inside that house leaves untouched. The first story goes back decades, when a wealthy merchant decided to move in. On his very first night, he heard footsteps upstairs, heavy, deliberate steps, even though he lived alone. At first, he thought it was his imagination, but then came the whispers, low voices speaking in a language he couldn't understand. By the third night, the doors began to slam on their own. Shadows moved across the walls, even while he stood there with a lit lantern in his hand. A week later, he fled in the middle of the night, leaving behind all his furniture. He never set foot near that house again. Years later, another family tried their luck. Father, mother, and 2 young children. For a short while, everything seemed fine, until the children began waking up screaming. They swore a tall man with a dark, faceless head stood silently beside their beds every night. One evening, the mother heard her children's laughter echoing from the kitchen, but when she walked in, the room was empty. On another night, the father woke up to find wet footprints on the living room floor, small, childlike prints, though every window and door was locked and his children were fast asleep. Within a month, the family packed their belongings belongings and disappeared without saying a word. Since then, the Jinn house has become legend. Neighbors claim to see flickering lights inside the broken windows at midnight. Some swear they hear screams, doors slamming, or furniture being dragged across the floor. Others insist they've seen pale faces staring from the windows, only to vanish the moment they looked closer. And still, the house stands, abandoned but never silent. A place that seems to breathe with darkness, as if waiting for its next victim. Is it truly haunted by Jinn, or is there something far